All right, so couple of this is not all. This is my third re-record. The phone keeps ringing. It's not off to a great start. Let me try again. All right, so some questions came up in class today about the multimedia project that you are going to complete with the end goal of delivering it to the folks who work for the Muscle Shoals National Heritage Area, which I am still trying to learn how to say, and it's been months now and it's not going so well. I don't know if you could... I think I've learned to hide it pretty well, but I have a little bit of a stutter and it does crop up on that series of words. So I'm going to go over the questions and answers. If you were in class, this hopefully gives you a little bit more to work with. And if you missed class, this maybe helps you catch up. So after I answer the questions, I'm going to then proceed to explain in a way that I hope will be helpful for you how to kind of take those answers and begin deploying them as you think about what to do next. Okay, so baby steps here, but we'll see. So the first question, do we have to be in the videos? It's a good question. The answer is no. You don't have to be in the video yourselves. If you want to be in a cameo appearance, if you want to do the narration or whatever, that's fine. I'm not going to stop you. Why is my phone dinging? I don't think I want to know. You can be in the video, but logically, most of the videos focus. I keep saying video. It's a multimedia project, so there's more than just video. But for the video components, you may be in it if you wish to be. You are not required to be. And I would encourage you, as you are thinking about what goes in the video, to think about what your topic and theme are going to be. You haven't picked them yet, but we've kind of started thinking about them. Just like you are not the focus of your research essay, the material is the focus of your research essay. In a similar way, you are probably not going to be the focus of the multimedia project or the video that is part of it. You might appear in the video giving narration or context or showing the size of something. There are ways that you could show up in the video, but it's not going to be like 4 to 6 minutes of you just sitting there talking like I'm doing now. So, all right. Hopefully that takes some of the pressure off. Second question, do we have to strike a positive tone? And this sort of the context behind this question was like, if we're delivering these projects to the Muscle Shoals National Heritage Area team, and they are going to, I think, use them in some sort of promotional capacity. I think that's like the end goal here. Do we need to sell the shoals, so to speak? Do we need to sell it somehow? Do we need to be super upbeat about it? Not necessarily. I would discourage you from directly attacking residents or public figures for the obvious reason that, you catch more flies with honey than with vinegar. If you haven't heard that saying before, it's a good one. So don't go picking fights for no reason. But just as in a couple, I showed you the single page website and the video that were, each of them was a part of this larger project that I did for a local nonprofit that was conducting a fundraiser, right? So the video and the website fit together. And in each case, there were some pretty dire statistics about rates of poverty and hunger in the Tennessee Valley area, and there were images of empty buildings with the windows busted out and all this kind of stuff. That was not super positive, right? It wasn't an attack on anybody. It wasn't saying well, this podunk town just needs to, it wasn't like that. But it wasn't yay, come visit the shoals either. And depending on the topic that you explore in your project, it might include some material kind of like that. You might elaborate a problem and say what we're doing about it, or who needs to be doing something about it, or just, I'm saying it doesn't have to be unambiguously 100% good news, okay? Kind of depends on the subject matter, but it also depends on what you want the end goal, I was fundraising, so it was something for the community. It wasn't negative, in that sense. It wasn't I'm going to do something bad to, this nonprofit or to the shoals or whatever. If the goal is to raise money, then you kind of want to demonstrate that money is needed, right? And you can only do that in so many ways, one of which is to demonstrate that there's no money currently. We need it because we don't have it. So depending on where your topic leads you, scenes of privation or scenes of ecological devastation or something like that could be part of the project and could fit naturally within, how you are framing your evidence on the page, on the screen, whatever. That leads me to, we've talked a little bit, because with the multimedia project in particular, the work that I do outside the university setting kind of relates, but I do digital communications consulting and I write advertisements and I build videos like you just saw and websites and yada, yada, yada. I place ads on social media, all that kind of stuff. One of the other things that I do kind of under that umbrella is training clients to do some of this stuff better themselves. Very much the way I'm about to train you to do it. Very similar. Usually not with a group this large, but this is the kind of thing that I do for organizations. So the idea there, and this kind of, stay with me because I think this will be useful for you as you think about like how you're approaching the project. The idea is I do a lot of work with nonprofits and smaller businesses and this kind of thing that like they're operating on a very small budget, which might not be the best business decision for me since they don't have that much to pay me with. But they're usually organizations that are handling most of their digital communications in-house, and they like doing it that way, right? Like they don't want to outsource all of their digital media management to, somebody else like me. And they don't want to hire somebody full-time, which would probably not be me, but they like what they've got, but they want to enhance it. And they want to do that on a budget. And so one of the services that I offer is that I'll come in and talk to them about their communicative goals. So like, what are they pitching? Like, what are they trying to get out there in the world? And who is their ideal audience? And this is usually the sticking point because it turns out that defining your audience in terms other than, well, people who will cooperate with us is actually really hard. So I kind of walk them through that. And then I go out and I find that audience online, wherever they are. Like I hunt until I find those folks communicating and using a digital platform, usually it's some form of social media. And then I study how those people, like that target audience, how they're communicating in group so that I understand like what the norms are. And I come back and I give a report that like offers recommendations for how the organization should frame their communications and structure them to best reach that audience. This is very much the same kind of thing that you are all doing as you are going through this class and probably some of your other classes, as you are thinking about like, okay, how do I make my essay look and sound like these other academic pieces of writing, right? Or these other pieces of academic writing. It's the same kind of deal, right? You're looking at an audience for you, that's other academics, and you're going, okay, I want to match what they are doing in order to make my own point, but make it within the norms of this group. Same deal. And in fact, the way that I often try and explain this to clients is that you are, like everything that you need to know to make a good social media pitch, you already kind of learned in college essay writing class, and then they look at me strangely, but eventually they get it. So the hopefully catchy way that I explain this is to say that you have to match your pitch to your product to the person on the platform. So pitch is not like the thing that you are selling, it's how you're framing your information, okay? So if your thesis statement is I think Daniel in our 112 class is working on the benefits of electric versus gasoline-powered automobiles. If the point Daniel's going to prove is that, yes, electric cars are better for the environment and they have like all these other additional benefits, and so we should put a lot of effort into getting electric cars. If that's the point, that's not his pitch. How he says it is his pitch, okay? So he can say it more formally or less formally. He can say it more combatively or less combatively. How you frame the information is the pitch. The product is we should be putting a lot of effort into getting electric vehicles because that's going to make the world better, okay? That's your product. And the person is the audience. You're probably already familiar with talking and thinking about audiences from your essay writing classes, including this one. Same kind of deal. In this case, your audience is going to be less comprised of a set of academics than you are probably used to from, your other writing settings. But you're thinking about, to whom am I making this pitch about this product? And then the last little piece here is platform. Platform in this case is going to be the delivery mechanism. So we don't use the term platform for this in academic communications, but it's the same concept. Academic journal articles, like that whole genre is kind of like publishing in a journal is presenting your information on a platform. Speaking at an academic conference is presenting your information on a platform. Each of these platforms has kind of like implicit and explicit rules and sort of norms, habits of communication that indicate like what's appropriate there and what fits and doesn't fit. And if it's a conference setting, like the number of people who can fit in the room. If it's an academic journal, then like the kind of paper that's available, or if it's, whether it's going to be digitally distributed, that kind of stuff. That's the platform. And in your case, probably I'm thinking this is going to end up being on some kind of social media because it's usually the easiest way to distribute stuff like this. Okay. They could also put it on a website, but it's harder to drive traffic to a website than it is to put it out there in Facebook or Instagram or what have you. So what I want to kind of point out here is that you can think about the essay skills that you've been mastering in your 111 and now your 112 college English. You can think about the principles you've been working with as tools that apply also to this other kind of communication. You are framing your presentation of evidence to make a point to a group of people within the parameters of a particular communicative context. Okay. Hopefully this helps. If you have questions, I would love to hear them. I'm going to try and pull some materials together for you to kind of work with as far as technical skills. Yeah, let me pause for questions and just kind of let me know where your heads are as far as thinking about the project, and we'll go from there. All right, I'll talk to you Wednesday.